time to reconcile with our cards. Stressless. If you need to let out your anger, scream into a pillow. I honestly don't have a recollection of ever doing that out of legit emotion. I think I once curiously buried my face onto a pillow and tried to talk into it or scream into it. But it was because I was wondering about the practicality of it, because it's something that maybe you see in movies like Lilo and Stitch. I remember there's a scene where Lilo is like crying to it or screaming to it, and then she lies on her back. Something like that. I can't remember if she has a pillow or if she had a blanket. Maybe she didn't have anything at all. It's been over 20 years since I saw that movie. But when I see something in a movie that I'm curious about its effectiveness, I may try it in person. But outside of that, I really do not scream in anger much, except when I'm frustrated and I want action and I need to be assertive about it. Like the last time I remember yelling at someone, it was my manager, but I was yelling to him, but not at him. It's not something he did. I was describing to him what was going on that was pissing me off and why it needs to be changed. And my tone and my volume kept going up and up and up and up. And ultimately, I always tell him, hey, just so you know, I'm mad, but remember that I'm not mad at you. Like me losing my shit right now, I don't know how else to express myself. And it's not something I just want to be calm for. And I also want there to be evidence that this legit bothers me. This legit affects me. But if I remain calm about it and remain peaceful about it and softly speak about it, then I feel like I don't have as much of an effect. But if you see me on the exterior, superficially, what you can actually see and what you can actually hear, and you perceive it for yourself, then you know that I'm dead ass not kidding. Because if someone tells me things calmly, I may not sense the urgency behind it. And when I get to a point where I am physically upset and you're seeing it, it's because it requires action. And I'm not doing that often, because if you do it often, then it loses its power. So that's why you have to be very wise and selective about when it happens. So for me, I have tolerance for shit a lot. And it isn't until I see no progress for what I consider to be a reasonable amount of time that I get upset, that I lose myself. But outside of that, me actually needing to scream into a pillow and those childish things, I don't do that. To me, it's childish. It's childish behavior. For instance, when I messed up my foot, I hit it so well. My physical pain tolerance is so high that nobody realized just how bad it actually was. Like I could feel it, but it's not like I was like, oh my god, my fucking leg, my foot, none of that. Like my boyfriend and her sister saw me swimming and they kept telling me that. They were like, I mean, we saw you just fine. I mean, you were diving, you were swimming, you stepped out. I was like, did you notice how I was stepping out? Kind of like with a limp. And he was like, yeah, but maybe it was because you didn't want to slip since you were wet. And I was like, like the pain was like that initial blow that you get and that initial pain. That's what I was feeling. But then it began to radiate. When that radiation began, that's when I said, okay, I need to sit down for a second. But then I looked down and I saw that I was beginning to bleed kind of significantly, and I said, okay, let me clean this up and let me get a band-aid for it, because I did jump into a pool that hopefully it was available for use. It did look clean with a leaf here and there, but why would someone rent out a place with a pool and not have something covering it or expressing that it's out of service, something like that? It was fine, but I don't have dramatic expressions, dramatic reactions. I think I would need to get burned, maybe shot at, or maybe like my skin being like peeled off, or a bone actually breaking, and me maybe seeing it and like the impact of that image messing with me, in order for me to have a reaction that's very emotional and loud. So yeah, that's pretty much it on this one for me. I don't feel like it's really applicable. I've never really had a need to do that. And when I scream or yell, I feel like I deploy that emotion wisely. It's not often, but when it happens, I don't regret it. It has the impact that I hope it had. Even if I'm not proud of how my projection came out, because I never think that a situation should warrant yelling or screaming. I think we are all civil adults and we should be beyond that. But sometimes you have these emotions, you have this primal instinct, and that is something that nobody should try to, I guess, suppress. It's there, it exists, control it, but you don't have to completely detach yourself from it. It is okay for you to be mad, but I don't think it's good for you to stay mad to where every single day you just have that reactionary kind of attitude. Okay, that's it. Bye.